EMP'd it. Maybe that's how it works. All right, so
go join the insane clown posse because they also don't know how maggots work.
I'd rather not. But look, surprise, surprise, Treehouse Comp here, set up right now with ANS and the Orisa. How did I know? They've been running the Widow all day long, so this is not really a surprise. Breaking through this barrier is going to require a very coordinated dive, so Luckby, Sansam going to struggle with this. See the swap here into the dive caught from Athena the second they scout this. They had the Widow first, but this is eating through their time bank. They're going to take a right side approach here, and this whole strat's going to be to knock the Orisa onto the ground.
Well, ANS now moving himself into a bit more of a precarious position. He's getting exposed out in the open here all by himself. Doesn't have the barrier to back him up, but not really anybody that can pick him off at range. Unless Dispy can come up with one hell of a right-click hold. Listen, in the meantime, just trying to be a bit of a distraction. We'll see a nice shift as the dive does come through there.
Successful, knocking Orisa down, barriers down, ANS is dead. This defense is busted. There's no way this bunker's gonna hold anymore.
Sungwoo's gonna find him in sand. Something's gonna be taken out of his mech as Mineral. Does find that pop. Sungwoo's zapped down to death. Gatling gun coming through there from the Orisa as well, finishing him off. So 2 picks coming through as they try to hold on. First tick, not going to be gained yet. The hold is to drag Chris back in. The tracking's there, but he's got that orb, but it's just not going to be enough. Sia goes forward and does finish him off in the end, right as Luckby also goes down. So good hold so far here.
Yeah, Mineral just fantastic damage output there, keeping himself alive, using his barrier to keep himself up for a long time. It's going to be a reset here for Meta Athena. He can't get back onto the high ground because it would require someone to switch to Mei. There's not enough time to do that. So the defense is weaker here, but still they may pull it off.
But ANS with a swap over to the Sombra. He's going to get picked off first and foremost, so not going to be around here. Innovation does get forced to use that recall, but he's got a pulse bomb ready to go and might be trying to target out Mineral, who has been wreaking havoc. Self-destruct's going up into the air. Pulse bomb comes through, finds one. Luckby dead. Songwoo's dead. Samsung not out of his mech. Pulse bomb does find Mineral in the end, but that's about it. That's the only trade that they've been able to make.
To be fair, I mean, realistically, when Orisa falls off, that's usually it. They usually don't even get another chance at defending. The fact that they've been able to make this happen for so long is pretty incredible. Because Orisa is basically just an inferior tank. You know, if she can sit up on this lower high ground here, she can do a little bit, but it's just not as powerful. It's much easier to dive.
We can call that the mid ground, perhaps.
The mid ground patch. So you can see they're going to easily dive this, push Orisa down again. Dragonblade is ready. They're looking for the backline here.
Yeah, but Innovation has been taken out. Not going to be building up for that pulse bomb. Sungwoo is just trying to rain down from above. Dashes in, looking for Swin. Does cut him down. So a nice little pick off there for him, but he's going to get hacked right in the middle of the wall run. And ANS is there to scoop up the kill.
They just can't kill Mineral, man. He wants to switch tanks, but I guess he's just going to stick with it. He's not going to die. Keeping himself up with that armor. He's been at full health. It's just so difficult to break through with damage coming through from Genji, for example, the Tracer. Sungwoo holds on to this Dragon Blade. He's going to have a sound barrier to work with this time, but they need to get into an angle where they can actually find those damage where he's not getting halted.
Oh boy, pulse bomb straight in. Alyssa
no
just
sound barrier
finds
in this fight.
Yeah, right around the corner. Says you're not going to be using that one yet, and it's going to be down to 45 seconds here on the clock as BlossoM just looks undefeatable here so far on Anubis. Songwoo's doing what he can, does manage to get rid of the Tori, so not going to be a res coming in. But seems like we might just have the Mercy able to rejoin his team in time for this final push anyway.
Yeah, well, this is going to be their last shot here for Meta Athena. The dive that we saw them attempt to kill ANS last time when he was on the Widow was unsuccessful. And I'm not confident about this against an EMP that could be used defensively right now. Luckby comes in very deep.
Yet again, ANS is going to be the first one to fall, but they still get the pop there. Out of the mech, the self-destruct. Finding Songwoo's no Genji there. Sound barrier infested, but it's just not doing enough. Baby Diva goes down. And this might just be the full hold completed by BlossoM on point A. Chris tags back in, waiting for his teammates to be able to join him. Innovation here as well will be pushing forward, looking to take down Mineral, who does have that Discord orb, but here comes the EMP. Anus drops it, and Dispy goes down. Both healers eliminated, and everybody just gets swept under the rug. Full hold goes to BlossoM.
I mean, this was a fairly textbook defense setup for BlossoM. They had the Orisa up on the high ground. They held it with Widowmaker, having the the damage boost coming through. And then eventually when that was broken, they still survived, which is, again, just almost unheard of in the highest level of Overwatch. In Overwatch League, for example, that's usually the death, which maybe you survive the first push after your setup is destroyed, but the second push basically defeats you because you don't have time to switch tank, and you don't have time to switch tanks, and Orisa's just an inferior tank in this setup. Now, all they need is one tick in order to win this map. BlossoM, of course. Now, we have seen them mostly using that long-range Widow in terms of their pushing. They did struggle with that when they were playing on Hollywood in the Streets phase. But this is a great map for attack Widow. You can actually find a lot of angles on the defensive setup here, and that's what they've got locked in so far here, Achilios.
Oh. Try to make this one work, but I mean, BlossoM already with one hell of a defense. Meta Athena, they need to exceed that if they want any chance of forcing out the tie.
Innovation going to be running that. Sombra, they're not going to be doing it with the Moira this time. There's not enough room to really use that here. They have to use Dismi on this Zenyatta to discord targets, hoping for a more standard dive coming through that could discord Mineral. That's the idea, win the fight as a result, but it's not going to quite be like that. It's going to be the boosted attack Widowmaker here. Again, ANS is going to be the make or break. They have a lot of time to get one tick though, so they could run this 4 or 5 push attempts before switching if it's not going to work. Worst case scenario, it's a tie, right?
Yeah, that's what I get in all my solo queue games, just boosted Widowmakers, but not in the way you're talking about, Wolf. I'd like to swap them out. If I could trade out my Widowmakers for ANS, good God, I would be top 500, I would think.
Okay.
Looking for an angle, but doesn't find anything yet.
Gonna use this grapple. Good position here for Meta Athena, hugging the right side, so there's no line of sight. Already seeing the Widow comp, just making it useless here, at least for the time being, until he gets into a better position.
Oh, he's gonna find a nice little shot there on the Sansam. Almost takes him out of the mech. He's gonna get taken down in the end. It would seem off screen. Yeah, Illicit able to finish him off. Song was trying to do the same to Sia, but just can't get him in time. Listen now into the back. He's gonna start capping this. They have to retreat. It's still moving up.
Oh man, this is gonna pull everyone away too.
Oh boy, things not looking good. Luck being the first one that goes down. Sansam following closely. Innovation doing what he can. Dashes back with the translocator in a very short hop, but no one's there. And that is just going to be a very swift victory here on Temple of Anubis. At the hand of BlossoM, and this, again, to remind you, this was Meta Athena's map pick.
Yeah, Meta Athena's map pick, but I think a very foolish map pick given the playstyle of BlossoM and their own weaknesses as a roster. You're basically saying, we're bad at dive, but we have to run dive to break point A. They are great at Widow. This is arguably the greatest Widow assault map in the entire map pool. When you have all maps available in Contenders Korea, why choose this map? You're more comfortable on Hanamura. Hanamura is a map where that you can play toward your strengths and away from the strengths of BlossoM. The pick on the Sansam there as well that won them the fight. It was right at the beginning. That's all they needed to get into position to do full damage with the Tracer. D.Va's D-Mech, but why? D.Va overextended over the wall there. They were hugging the right side. D.Va comes out. Sansam, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to pressure a little bit. Gets D-Mech'd immediately. As a result, they can fully come in and dive. That's when ANS gets into position. Tracer's getting picks. And Achilios, this is not looking good for Meta Athena. They've got one more shot to come back into this. Their second best map type of escort. But you know, it's really just been a DPS outclassing. I know I feel like a broken record with this, but it's just been true.
I don't even know if I would stop at DPS. I would just say full team outclassing so far here by BlossoM. It was some sparks of brilliance there from Meta Athena on Control. We know that that is their best map type, but ever since then, everything has just kind of fallen short. Everything that we were able to praise on Nepal has just kind of not really been there. There was a couple of moments there for Songboost, who looked like maybe he was picking up the slack of the rest of his squad. He was, you know, getting kills with the Genji and everything like that, but then would immediately die, and he was just losing more team members than he was able to kill on the side of BlossoM.
Yeah.
And everything. It just seems like there's just too many shortcomings here for this particular matchup for Meta versus BlossoM.
I mean, it's very telling that Orisa, standing literally on the point, what she was able to do just by putting up her armor, using halt to, you know, kind of mess with the dive targets. how much she was able to accomplish just on the ground, on the point alone, I think is very telling of the proficiency of dive for Meta Athena at the moment. They looked so fantastic on the Paul when they were running a more death ball-oriented style, moving slowly, building early coalescences, using innovation on the Sombra to pick the DPSs, or sorry, the supports off with the coalescence. That's how they won those fights, especially on Shrine. When it comes to longer engages where you have to go through choke points or you're looking at line of sight, they just haven't been able to master it like BlossoM has. BlossoM sees the entire comp that's moved to the right. You can feel that feeling of frustration for ANS where he goes, well, I have no targets. He probably asked the shot caller, do we just make a dart for the point? They're out of position. What do we do? And it's at that exact moment before they can even decide that Sansam pokes his head out, gets DMAC'd, and everything falls apart. And I feel like going into Escort, it's going to be more of the same. At least for Escort, you're always on the payload, so you're always grouped up. Their Moira style that they found success with on Nepal, I think will be strong for Meta Athena here. But it's certainly going to be an uphill battle, especially in terms of morale. Yep. And if you're ANS, man, you're having your greatest opening day of your life. From streamer to pro, it's been just really a highlight reel for him and Illicit all night long.
We'll forget about the initial hiccups there that he did have, but again, it just took that caster blessing as we were ridiculing him a little bit, and then he suddenly started popping off on the Widowmaker, and it's just been nothing but good stuff from him from there on out. Unfortunately for Meta Athena, we've been giving them plenty of ridicule, but they haven't been able to step up to that same stage, so the blessing only works from time to time.
I feel like ridicule is a strong word, but I'd say criticism in terms of what they've been able to accomplish.
That is a better word. We'll go with that.
With a comp that they knew they had to run, or at least they should have been able to identify quickly they would have to run against BlossoM's playstyle. They picked a map that's best suited for BlossoM's playstyle, knowing that their attack run would have to use their weakness in order to succeed. They were weak with this style in Trials as well. Even when they had Saya player, he was mostly on Soldier, the Tracer, and they're very strong on maps so they can get into line of sight, do damage from a distance, breaking points like Hanamura as well with their Sombra play. They were very good at that. Anubis, though, it just doesn't quite work that way. You can't break through with Sombra, with a Moira composition that they used to great success on Nepal. They had to dive with Genji, Winston, and D.Va. We saw how poorly that went for them when they were diving on Hollywood, but it was even worse on Anubis. But guys, hype. Big Box is subbed in for Meta Athena. Big Box, I think, by far their best DPS. The DPS has been lacking. Yeah. He's a fantastic tracer, much better than Innovation. This is, I think, very exciting, and this is an opportunity for Meta Athena to maybe bring something back.
I mean, they need something really desperately here, coming down to, final game. Now going to be 2-1, and going into Escort. Again, their choice, so they do get to go for whatever their favorite is going to be. But they already had they had their choice twice. Hollywood was another thing that they have said historically that they do prefer as far as hybrid, and they got absolutely smacked down in that one. So they really need to make a smart decision when it comes down to this Escort map, and they have to have results. And Big Box, maybe swapping out one player can do that for you if Big Box really is going to hit those hype points and even exceed our expectations of him. But again, the whole team overall has kind of been lacking when it comes down to everything post Nepal. So unless his shot calling is way better than the current shot calling that they have, I don't know if this change is going to be enough to find success versus BlossoM.
I think it's certainly going to make it easier to use dive, and if they want to run a map like Route 66 here, it's their map choice again. I think it can work well, but again, Route 66 plays into the style that we've seen so much from BlossoM already. They can easily run the Widow there. They have the better Sombra. Illicit has vastly outclassed Innovation so far. It's going to be Dorado. Now this map makes it very difficult to use Widowmaker, so that's something that I think that's a great choice for, or one of the reasons why this is a great choice for Meta Athena.
It makes it a bit more difficult, but it's certainly not an impossible task here for ANS. Still plenty of decent sightlines that you can use sitting on top of the gate by the marketplace there, right in front of point A. is a very standard one, but it is predictable, and that's something that maybe they want to exploit. Maybe try to bait ANS into playing those sight lines and then go in with the dive,
let's not
fully
forget,
committing in to kill him.
Let's not forget this is also somewhat less relevantly, but just an interesting fact is this is Meta Athena's biggest picked escort map in Apex history when they relied on Hoon Zarya on this map, as well as when they were playing this map with King's Row. It's similar to King's Row in terms of its first choke point there. So Hoon's obviously not on this roster, but it's a map, stumbling on my words here, Achilios, that Chris, who I believe is shot calling today based on what I was told, can shot call back towards familiarity, and they can play a more death ball oriented style with Moira on the defense. It's a better map for that play style. We'll see if that's what they want to show us here. They will be starting on attack. And ANS, regardless of this map, man, he is running the Widow already. And they're going to set up a similar defense. I don't blame them because Meta is just so... They've struggled so hard to break through these.
Yeah, Big Box here going to be starting off on the Tracer, so certainly going to have to keep our eyes on him. Most recent one swapped in. ANS goes for a peek up over the left side, but he's not going to see anything. And again, he's cutting back over towards the gate. And we are just going to have the shield set up right here by the little underpass, the archway. And Illicit's just going to keep firing away with the bombs. Right check, Innovation, and ANS both going back and forth, trying to land those shots onto each other. Eyes are going to be missing.
Yeah.
Very big dive in by Luckby, and he is just going to get blown up. Yet again, goes in alone. He gets taken down, and Big Fox is not one for the world. He follows suit. He's taken down there by ANS, and it is just a slaughter.
Indeed.
BlossoM, my God.
I mean, that felt like an eco leap, as you and I used to call it back in the day.
It was, yeah, exactly. We'll go ahead, we'll bring back the eco leap.
We'll bring back the eco leap, but that was just simply not, that was a dive not fitted to do well. Now, this comp is so cool for BlossoM because they have so much peel with Roadhog and the Orisa in this choke point, plus Junkrat. Diving through this is going to be so incredibly difficult.
Oh ANS just sees right through it. Innovation tries to get the flanking position.
That was so risky by Innovation. If he could pull it off, it would have been amazing. Now that they've shown their hand here, so ANS is just going to keep checking this. Oh, goodbye, Luckby. Nice try. No one's coming through this gate.
Straight into the trap and gets absolutely annihilated. This is not a good look at all here from Meta Athena. And Big Box, he's got the pulse bomb ready to go, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do a damn thing to try to turn this around.
He has to get Swoon or Dotori. That's his only opportunity. If he can get Illicit, that's going to be very difficult. But if he can get Illicit, that would be huge. That would mean they could just barrel through. But he's just so well protected at the moment. Oh, they're just going to go straight through the front. Luckby is still in that primal rage. He dies first again.
Yeah, that's going to be the Riptire coming in. ANS just playing down along the ground. Gets a nice shot into the backside. And Sam takes him low. Can't get the pop on the suit yet as ANS does take a body shot from the enemy Widow, but still is going to be all right if he tries to hunt down Innovation. And here he's going to be using that infra sight for Meta Athena so they can track everybody.
This is going to be their attempt to grab Junkrat. Could be the way to break through this. A hook does come through. Junkrat is the target. He's going in for Illicit. Illicit does get the bounce here. He goes down. This is their first opportunity they've really had. Huge pulse!
Throws it in, but Mineral's still going to be able to stay alive. Now Transcendence comes in. Here, Mercy popping up that res, gets Illicit back into the fight, and Innovation was taking down ANS, winning out on that Widow duel. Gets a couple shots into the back of the Diva. As he does go ahead and peel away, he'll pop up onto the side. Barely missed an opportunity to go for the Mercy's head there.
Only going to go for confirmed kills until...
Well, there you go. It's just going to be another one on the Luckby.
Yeah, that pulse on the last fight would have been so amazing if the Transcendence had not been perfect. Everyone was heavily damaged. That could have been Meta Athena's best opportunity to get through. They got the Junkrat kill, which means coming through this choke point gets so much easier. But because they fail now, the setup is back again for BlossoM.
Innovation still pushing forward, has not abandoned this Widowmaker, wants to try to upset ANS in that 1v1 situation, but hasn't been looking too good. This means it's going to be the first one that goes down. They'll finish off the Bongo as well, just to get rid of that extra damage. And Innovation finally finds the shot there, taking out ANS. The pulse bomb comes through again, and this time it does in fact kill Mineral. Picks are still coming in. Illicit gets rid of Disme, but it seems like the push might be able to get completed here for the side of Meta Athena as they keep pushing forward.
So the self-destruct forced everyone back. They had to get behind the Orisa barrier at a different angle. That's when the opportunity arose for Innovation. Gets a kill here, 1v1 again. He got the opportunity to get the flank. No one saw him, gives a wave to the crowd here. No one saw him, so as a result, he was able to get into that angle where he could kill the squishes in the back line, and all it takes is a disruptive ult like self-destruct to allow these line of sights to happen.
Well, they managed to get the completion there onto point A just in time as the clock was running down. But now, just gonna be 2 minutes, 15 seconds left on this time bank as they get ready to move through the street space. We'll see if they're able to complete it. All right, straight and precise had been used by both Widowmakers. Innovation's getting ready to run down now and hasn't led to him getting any picks thus far, and Luckby just dies off screen. Yeah,
Luckby is already going down, so that's gonna burn through some of that time. Illicit just trying to gain some information here as he drops down that translocator, harassing a little bit, building that EMP, making it so no one can easily go through that choke point, that alleyway there. ANS does dominate this high ground, and he's got so much protection against the dive here. As you can see, he's bodyguarded right now by Illicit.
Yeah, but has the drop-off as the Diva comes through. Actually, he's just going to pop straight back up there, gets a shot in. We have plenty of teammates here to fight alongside. The dive comes through. He's got plenty of backup, as you say.
Yeah, he's just really alternating between high and low ground, making it impossible to clearly dive in when he has Illicit and Sia to bodyguard him. It's tough to actually get that pick, and so the damage just comes through clean and clean every single time and time again. Clean damage, and then he escapes, goes to the low ground, gets some damage done. They try to dive him, he goes back to the high ground, and Illicit is always there to do that damage, to build that EMP.
You say clean damage, but most of the stuff ANS has been doing has been damn dirty. Wolf comes up with another kill there on Innovation. Works him down, Illicit poking forward yet again, has that EMP ready to go, wants to find Disme, spots him out, tries to kill him even without investing the EMP.
Yep,
just
very close
a little bit there.
He did a lot of damage to everybody too, which means passively he can see where everyone is going to be. He can transmit that information to ANS, who's looking for those picks around the wall. Okay, here he comes. This one's going to be real.
Throws it down. Yeah, gets it in time. Transcendent's not going to be coming out, but the heal's coming through from the pocket. Mercy, and he cannot finish off Disme. That's going to be Primal Rage invested now for Luckby as he tries to disrupt this high ground and will do so. ANS out of position because of the monkey, gets taken down by Innovation in the end.
Okay, Transcendence is available here. They're about to have Valkyrie. They've got two great tools, the Self-Destruct and the Primal Rage. Meta Athena, they survive. The push continues, but their hardest challenge is yet in front of them.
Hunting yet again, but he doesn't have the EMP to back him up. We'll just go ahead and find a spot, get a couple hits in on Innovation, but has to jump back with that translocator yet again. Mineral this time trying his hand with the Primal Rage, trying to get them off of that payload, because now we're into overtime. Disrupting the back line. Sansep's going to be knocked out of that mech as Swoon comes up with it. Transcendence invested. Big Box taken down by the off-screen self-destruct, and there's just nowhere for Disme to go. Chris is dead as well. He'll die in the end. Gets the nice little cheeky kill, but Swoon is just scooping up the rest. A triple kill for his Zenyatta, and a nice hold comes through here for BlossoM in the end, just shy of point B.
It's been such a challenge, it's been such a struggle for Meta Athena to get in here and do reliable damage to ANS on the Widow. And part of that comes from Illicit's fantastic sober, whether it means he's peeling using his hacks and his extra DPS there to kill the diving target. Luckby in most cases. Luckby's probably got a pretty abysmal kill death right now, given how often he's trying to come in and get these picks and simply overextending, killed by Zenyatta there. But I think at the end was the saddest part of his adventure today in this map of Dorado and in tonight's matches in general. It's rough, man. When ANS gets on that high ground, Meta Athena just cannot break through.
High ground, low ground, doesn't matter. You saw him just playing around the bazaar there on point A.
That's true.
Just destroying them left and right, and the find on Innovation trying to come around the backside with his own Widowmaker, just assassinating him as soon as he comes over the wall. And they're wonderful stuff.
They're abusing the fact that Luckby is such an aggressive Winston, setting up this Orisa barrier, you know, at the fountain, having it so that basically the only way to do damage reliably is to flank, which Illicit has covered. He has vision, he's constantly harassing, so his passive can see through the wall to see if they're going to take a different angle where the barrier is not there. And then they have Junkrat, whose concussive mines were used mostly for disruption of the dive. He's got that burst damage in the choke point. They eventually broke through because of the infrasight, which allowed them to go and pick off Junkrat. Finally, once Junkrat was down, they got through, but it just took so long, Achilios. So much of their time pool was already burned, and then they didn't have enough time to figure out how to deal with ANS's next move.
Well, now, backs against the wall. How the Meta Athena try to deal with this? They're going to be running something a bit similar here. Moira out for Chris. But they have the Orisa, they have the Roadhog, and that Widowmaker. So Lissen's going to have to be a bit careful here. Spots out that Widow and knows that he has to play a bit closer here to the buildings and just deny those sightlines away.
So this is a different approach to what Meta Athena took. They're just simply going to fly over the Orisa barrier and get those shots stun into the back line. Grab here.
Coming through. Yep, Lissen's gonna go down. Luckby turning things around a bit there with the Orisa. So that's how BlossoM wants to alter things up to try to break through this barrier. Big Box goes through. He's just gonna get taken down. Distracted by the Diva, and ANS says, thank you very much for holding still. I'm gonna take your head off now.
Yeah, that was pretty lucky timing for Meta Athena. It could have been worse, but they're going to try to break through now. BlossoM is, well, the Sombra is still coming back. Illicit doing free damage right now. The setup is broken. Orisa's barrier, not where it needs to be to protect Innovation. He's so low, can't get a line of sight.
Yeah, still going low, but has the Moira there to back him up. He'll stay alive here for the moment as ANS starts sniping away. He's trying to find Innovation, but is just settling for these body shots, these few headshots being thrown in there onto the tankier members. There we go, gets him in the end as he pops up over the top. And this is likely just going to be a very swift push onto point A here coming through for BlossoM. Illicit going up close and personal with the rocket launcher. Doesn't give a damn about splash damage onto himself. He goes right in there, has a barrage ready to go, and now is already trying to deny this high ground away from Meta Athena.
Luckby is going to make the switch back to Winston here, but they are going to attempt to do a similar hold to what we saw from BlossoM, keeping Innovation on that Widowmaker, but they were never able to control this high ground because the kills were so steamrolly here for BlossoM. They've actually taken that high ground on attack before Meta Athena can even reform their combo. They're still switching heroes. Illicit probably going to switch after this barrage, but one barrage may be enough with all the ultimate advantage they have to simply win this map and win the series.
And there it goes, Luckby going down, death taxes, and the Winston dying first. Meta Athena losing out on their tank member yet again, and they are going to continue the push here to BlossoM as they go all the way up right in front of point B, just trying to get Meta Athena completely contained, and it is working like a charm. Big Box, he goes down, not going to be disrupting anybody on the backside with that invisibility. And ANS finds another shot onto Luckby right as he tries to rejoin.
Cart's just free rolling right now. They've got Lucio on it. Dotori here is just simply running it in. And ANS has a great angle here to pick off these tanks, do so much damage to them. Illicit gets the boot kill onto Innovation. This may be the end of the series with the next push.
Yeah, the Transcendence comes up, but they have to get back over onto the payload. Luckby goes forward here by himself, and Sia does get knocked out of the Megas Disney, finds that pick. So a slight little reprieve for the side of Meta Athena, as they might be able to hold on for a little bit longer, but it's 3 minutes, 35 seconds left on the clock. That's going to be the hack there. Onto the Baby Diva, they'll just try to stagger Sia as much as humanly possible, but again, this time bank is just huge for BlossoM.
Let's not forget, too, that the run back for Meta Athena, this is the longest part of their, oh god, 1v1. Let's observe this first. I was going to say, this is the longest run back for them when they get wiped, for BlossoM, excuse me. So Meta Athena is going to be in prime position to burn through that clock every time they get a wipe. This EMP could buy them a lot of time. Gonna hold on to it for a better opportunity. It's the only ult they realistically have right now.
The hack on the minerals all they find, but it's not going to last long enough for them to try to finish him off. EMP does come down. Big Box just firing away here from the low ground. Sound barrier coming out helps keep Sia alive and in the fight. At least here for the moment, and Big Box is yet again going to be the first one that gets picked. They have to get in onto the payload, and that's going to be the Primal Raging Winston in from the backside. Luckby tries to stop them, but everybody else is just going down. Primal Rage expires, he falls as well, and that's it. BlossoM take the map. They take the match. 3-1 victory for them.
First winners of Contenders in Korea. And I feel that the legacy of Meta Athena that was tarnished by their Apex Season 3 performance, further tarnished by their Apex Season 4 performance, if you can call it that, they barely made it through trials. And this is a team many Western players, or sorry,